Thanks for joining us for another thrilling off-road adventure as we take on the legendary Box Canyon trails again. Featuring steep ledges, rock climbs, and jaw-dropping desert views. We'll have some reviews of various accessories that are essential for summer driving. There might even be a few helpful tips. Now we're going to kick things off at the Cottonwood staging area. That's off Highway 79 near Florence. We'll be navigating to Mineral Mountain ridgetops. Using SxS along the way, we'll tackle challenging terrain, including the infamous Box Canyon Ledge, or better known as the Waterfall. We're even going to hit Elvis. That's rated an 8 out of 10. It has steep climbs and some butt-puckering ledges. It's going to test our rigs and our nerve. We're going to have fun. We've been on the same road or trail ever since we left the parking lot, and you might have seen it says 4 different names. Well, that's very common out here where 1, 2, 3, 4 trails, they come together, they go along for a ways, and then they'll branch off. But you may have noticed the terrain has changed dramatically, and it will do that throughout the ride. Some parts of it super easy, just easy sightseeing, others very technical, and you'd better pay attention or you'd be very sorry. So before every ride, I use SxS on my computer to plan out my route. And here we are at an intersection that has multiple trails, but SxS, the route's already mapped out for me. I know I need to take the far right trail, and that's going to take me up onto the ridgetops of Mineral Mountain with fantastic views and drop us right down on top of the waterfall. If you're fairly new to off-roading in a side-by-side, I feel pretty comfortable that most of us could make it from the parking area through everything you've seen so far, all the way to the top of this ridge on Mineral Mountain. And then the question would be, do you really want to try the waterfall, or should you take one of the other trails off? Well, I'm not going to show you the other ways. Today we're focused on the waterfall. The next time I'm up here, I'm definitely going to take a break so I can just shoot some video and show you how beautiful this is. This is a good example of why you have to pay close attention at all times up here. The road is starting to erode over here on the edge, and if you didn't notice that, you could get a little too close, and then what's going to happen? Tumble, tumble. As we leave the ridge and get deeper into the canyon, you can see how a waterfall becomes possible. All that water running off the mountain, coming down this narrow canyon, it just starts to take the dirt away and leaves nothing but rocks, and we certainly found them. Of course, this type of trail makes the ride so much more interesting than just a nice smooth road. As we get closer to the waterfall, the erosion becomes even more severe. So it's getting us psyched up. We're going to be ready for the waterfall. Well, it's not very far away. And yeah, I'm still excited. And this is probably a good time to mention tire placement. You really need to pick the right line to get you and your machine safely through whatever obstacle you're taking on.
Yeah, you're over further than I would have, but okay. It looks like you're doing great. Coming down. Here it comes. Nice stretch. Nice. All right. And you're not even scraping. Now you do. Now you do. All right. You're on 3 wheels. 4. Oh, that's great. You made that look too easy.
That scared the shit out of me the first time I did it. This time wasn't so bad.
Give us some gas.
All right, let's take a look at it again in slow-mo and zoom in a bit, and we can see what's happening with this vehicle as he slowly rolls down. He slides off the top, gets some pretty good angles going, but you'll notice he looks very relaxed, under control. This is a huge improvement. He's only gone down this thing once, and he didn't even do that side. Last time he did the zigzag. This is just amazing. He's been watching my videos.
Come on down. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let's get your door.
The door pop up?
So I screwed up one of my doors. The rock.
Let's slow it down and zoom in for detail. As soon as that front passenger tire drops, you see the rear lift up. This thing is stiff. So the rear drops in the opposite corner. In the front, it goes up.
Pretty much hit it straight. Go a little forward. There's a rock. You're at the top of the rock right now. You should be able to just drive it straight in and then deliver to my side. Yep, that's perfect. Gas it a little bit.
2 wheels, 3 wheels.
Oh, look at that. 2 wheels.
3 wheels.
Yeah, a little this way. Yeah, perfect. Now hit the gas. And it'll tip on. Perfect.
Nicely done.
Now go straight that way. You're fine.
All right, let's zoom in and slow it down so we can see details. Bear in mind, I've done this one other time. Dean actually looked calmer and more in control going down than I do in this video. Next time, I will do it with more speed. Purpose makes a heck of a difference. But it's fun to watch the tires leave the ground, the machine flex. This is just great. I have to say that since I started slowing the video down and zooming in, I have learned a lot, not only about my technique, what I'm doing right and wrong, but I've learned from others. And it's obvious Dean learned from watching the videos before he came out today, because he looked awesome doing this. After this much excitement, we were all starved, so we pulled over to the shade of the canyon wall and had lunch. So during lunch, we all decided we wanted to try to go up the waterfall. We needed more excitement. So Dean went first again and showed us how it was done with bold, aggressive technique. He left the ground with 1 or more wheels. He even did a slide at the top. Exciting. Bill attempted to go up the right side of the waterfall, but couldn't find the right angle or get the right speed. He just kept hanging up. So he gave up and went up the left side like the rest of us. So Bill shows us the advantage of having a longer rig for going up the waterfall. It's a little bit smoother. I don't think he gets as much air with the tires on any corner. And then when he gets up to the wall itself, he picked a slightly better line, just a little bit more over to the right. So when he peeked out at the top, he did not really slide to the left towards the rock face. Nicely done. It's my turn to do the waterfall. I have 4-wheel drive, diff lock on. I'm ready for whatever it throws at me. And as I climb, I'm too far to the left just a little bit, and I slide just like Dean did. I just had to keep my foot on the gas to make that work. So at the top of the waterfall, there's a trail to the right. It's kind of steep, especially at the top, and you have to make an immediate left because it's a T. Otherwise, you're going to drive over the side, and you don't want to do that. I found staying to the left side at the top is the easiest way up, a lot less dramatic. So here comes Bill up the same climb. I think this is around 28 degrees. He's looking good, only he decided to come up the middle, not to the left, which makes it a lot more dramatic. And eventually he has to step on the gas and slide over to the left, but he does make it. It's looking good. Now it's Dean's turn in that new Honda Talon, and he's making it look pretty easy coming up there. He got a little wheel lift, but other than that, he gets to the top and it just looks super easy. Way to go, Dean. So it's time to continue on up to the top of the bridge, which means about 100 feet or so we hang a right. That gets us to the top. We run along for a little ways, and then we're going to drop down to the whoop-de-doo roller coaster. Well, the views from anywhere on a ridgetop around here are just incredible, and look at all the trails out there. This is a great place to play. If you have a CVT like I do, and you're going down a steep grade, you need to keep the engine engaged, or the clutch will disengage. You'll be freewheeling and quickly go out of control and or wear out your brakes. How do you keep this from happening? It's called two-pedal driving. So use your brakes, slow yourself down to whatever speed you want to go down that descent just before you start. Give it some gas just for the pace that you want to maintain. You may have to play with the brake and the gas for a little ways, but pretty soon You can just use the gas, let go of the brake, and the engine will maintain the speed. If it starts to speed up, repeat the pattern. At the bottom, we're going to make a right-hand turn and whoop-de-doo roller coaster. And we're going to be on this for a long time, but it makes several turns. The next turn will be Elvis. We've turned on to Elvis. We're at the base of the big climb, and this is going to be exciting. It goes up for I don't know how long. It just feels like forever. It's pretty steep, somewhere in that 28 to 32 degree range. It has rocks that you have to drive up, even though you're already going super steep. There's narrow ledges. It's just crazy fun. So I've only done Elvis one time, and it was in the opposite direction. And I got to tell you, it's a whole different world going up this side than it was coming down. And they're both a heck of a lot of fun. And Salli was telling me after the ride that, well, she was sitting on the passenger side when we got to the very narrow spot and looking over that edge. And I believe there might have been some butt-puckering going on there. Well, eventually we finally made it to the top, and what a view. I waited for everyone in the shade of that tree, and there was nothing but smiles on everyone's face. The ride down off the ridge was pretty uneventful, but eventually we wound up down in Sandman. Guess what? That's washed with lots of rocks. Some of them are pretty big, and some of them became quite a challenge to figure out how we were going to fit or get around them. But still, it was fun. The answer for this one was easy. I made a right up that little rise and down the other side, and we bypassed all those rocks. Well, it didn't take very long before we found more rocks, and Bill's length became an issue, and his vehicle turns worse than mine does. So it took us a while to get him out of this. Therefore, I sped this up so you can get the idea of what took place without spending as long as it took us to actually make this happen. And I got to tell you, in the end, we were all quite relieved. We did not have to turn around. Luckily, Bill has a lot of rock sliding protection on his vehicle, so there was no damage. There were definitely scrapes and thuds and lots of noises, but it all went extremely well. I'd already gone through here without the camera on and had to turn around and come back to help, so Dean's the only one left. Once Bill made it through here, Dean knew the line to take and the line not to take, so he's going to make this look super easy. Since we're not rock crawlers, we were moving through here very slowly. It didn't matter which one of us it was. We were slow. So again, this is sped up so you can see what took place without boring you to death. The next major rock obstacles just happened to be where it was time for us to hang a right and get out of here and head back with a nice easy trail all the way back.
All right, so what do you think? Did you guys have fun?
I had a blast, man.
Yes.
Would you do that again?
Yes.
You like the rocks?
I like the part where we were lost.
Well, that was like 90% of the time we were lost.
Right.
All right,
That's fun. And we live.
and nobody
Well, that's
died.
it for this recording. Use the comment section below if you want to share your experience at this location or maybe recommend an area that you really enjoy. Please keep it clean. I want this to be a family-oriented channel, so review what you type before you submit it. Thanks. I apologize if you happen to hear something during the ride's recording that may not sound family-oriented. I will try very hard not to let certain words slip out during an exciting moment. We'll see how that works. If you found this video helpful or just enjoyed it, please hit the like button below. Share the link with your friends. Be sure to subscribe so you can easily keep up with my latest videos, which will continue to cover things like Segway Villain Owner's Area of Interest, reviews of accessories, where to ride, tips about the Villain, how-to videos, and lots more. Yep, there's going to be more. Thanks for watching.